Oh, hi there. Welcome back to the content enhancement routines. We are now going to start talking about the course organizer routine. So now you get the chance to actually plan your entire course, be that a semester-long course or a year-long course. Picture, if you will, an open highway going to the sunrise. That's what we're doing here. We're going to say, how are we going to get from August the 15th to June the 15th? How are we going to get from day one to the very last day of school? We want to make sure that our students are with us, that they understand how information is connected, why it's important for them to learn, why are they learning it, and then we want a way to check their progress. So we want to come back and make sure that they're able to synthesize all the information they're learning in August with the information they're learning in January, in April, and June. Just because we teach something in August and they pass a test in August, we want to, of course, be distributed and cumulative. And this is a way that you can organize yourself and have your students organize themselves so you're sure that the students have remained with you on this very important journey of your content area class. What you'll notice about the course organizer is it's laid out much like a course syllabus may be laid out in your college area classes. We're going to cover what is this course about, what does it look like, what are some critical questions that are going to be answered in this course, what are some critical concepts that we're going to cover in the course, and then really important information like how are grades going to be determined in this course, what kinds of things will I have to do to show my progress in this course, and also what are some behavioral expectations that you have in this course. Again, as mentioned in the previous video, some challenges with your courses are that you have a vast amount of material that you have to cover in a very limited time. And I know that can seem very daunting. Throw in the fact that you're going to have such a wide array of ability levels within each of your content area classes, and it's going to make this extremely challenging. So this is an organization routine to really help all of your students, regardless of their ability level, get there to the end of the class with you. Looking at the research for the course organizer, we can see that all students, regardless of ability level, were able to stay more focused. They were able to answer more questions. They were able to remember more information. So not only did they learn information, but they are able to maintain it for a much longer period of time. And isn't that what we're trying to do as teachers? We don't want our students just to simply learn facts, but we want them to be able to use those facts to think more critically and to maintain that knowledge over a large period of time. Okay, so just to give you an overview of the course organizer, here is the front of the organizer. It's a very simple sort of document. It has a front side and a back side. This is the front side. You'll see that you have the title of your course, a short course paraphrase, a number of course questions, and then some course objectives. Likewise, on the back, you have the critical concepts to be covered. The course map really focuses on the units. So what units will be present within your course? So that's almost like the roadmap. These are the units that will take you from August to June. And it also includes some community principles, some learning rituals, and some performance options. Now, for the next two sections of this video, I'm going to take you step by step through each of these categories so you can understand exactly what to do to keep your students organized and ready to go. Okay, looking back at the front page of our course organizer, you'll see that the first section we want to just put our title of the course. In the example that I'm going to use within this video, I'm going to use an American history class, and in particular, United States history to 1900. Notice the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a course paraphrase. How can I encapsulate what is this course about, what differentiates this course from other courses, what makes this course really unique? This is what we want to try to break down into one short course paraphrase. Now, that's going to be a lot harder, I believe, than you think it will be, to take your vast amount of knowledge and your content expertise in a subject and break it down to just a 1 or 2 sentence paraphrase. It's a skill, though, that will serve you really well as a content area teacher, because the the more concisely and succinctly that you can talk about your course, the better students will be able to understand it. In this instance, we have that United States history to 1900 is about how the United States was created, grew to be a nation, and led the world into a revolution based on technology. Now, take a second and reflect on that paraphrase and ask yourself the simple question: is that paraphrase extremely broad or extremely specific? Absolutely. It's pretty broad because this is what we're going to cover over the course of the entire year. So we want to make this sufficiently broad so we can see, okay, there are lots of different aspects that are going to play into this, but overall, we're really going to focus on how the United States was created, how it grew to be a nation, and led the world into a revolution based on technology. Again, the course paraphrase should really encapsulate what is this course all about, how does this course different from courses that students have had previously, how would this course lead into what the students will take next. Really, I like to consider this an umbrella. So what falls underneath this umbrella? So this may include the topic and information about the topic. It might provide a unique emphasis for the course, and it needs to be simple, clear, and meaningful for all. If it's too short or vague, the students aren't going to get the whole picture, or if it's too long and overwhelming, you're just going to turn your students off from the get-go. So we want to make sure that we really take our time to come up with a concise, succinct, but full course paraphrase. As I'm going through each section of the course organizer, please take the time to flip through your course organizer workbook that you purchased from Kansas University. If you flip towards the back, you'll see lots of examples from a bunch of different subject areas. So you can see how different teachers have made their course paraphrases, how they did their course questions, so on and so forth. All right, moving on to the next section of the course organizer, we have the overall course questions. Now, these questions are the critical questions that every student in the class will be able to answer by the end of your course. Again, take a look at our sample questions for United States history to 1900. What ideas have shaped or are shaping the destiny of the United States? How have art and literature served as windows to U.S. history? What is the culture of the U.S.? How has the American dream affected U.S. culture? Now notice in all these questions, again, are these super broad or super specific? Well, again, they are very broad. And the reason is you're going to be answering these questions over the course of every single unit within your course. So we want to keep these questions extremely broad. We do not want to ask closed-ended questions, so we don't want to ask yes and no questions. We want to focus on questions using words like how and why and what that really leave it open for the students to use everything that they learn throughout their course to come back and answer each of these questions more fully. These questions will not only help your students do very well on assessments, but they're really going to key the students into the critical content to be covered and how that content is interrelated and connected. It also serves as a great way for the students to monitor their own progress within your course. Here's one of my friendly tips for the course questions. Imagine, if you will, after the end of each unit, if you come back to the course questions and have your students write on each question, at the end of, say, the first unit, they'll have a certain amount of knowledge about, for instance, how did technology shape the future of the United States. But then imagine if you have them come back after, say, the fourth unit and write on that same question, what you're going to see is that the students are able to synthesize and put together the information from each of the units that contribute to that question. And what you will see as a teacher, and what the students themselves will see, more importantly, is how they're able to kind of synthesize, put this information together, start thinking more critically. You know, a lot of divergent ideas might be happening. How are all these things shaping into this bigger question? And it's really neat for us as secondary teachers to see our students bloom in that way, because now not only do we know the students are making progress, but the students themselves can really see that progress, track that progress, and guess what? That's going to really give them a lot of self-confidence and a lot of self-esteem in your very complex content area, because they're going to be able to see, wow, I started here in August, but now it's February, and I know all of this information, and now when I get to June, wow, I really know quite a bit about this content area. I know these main ideas. I know how a lot of these ideas have gone in to shape these questions that you really wanted me to answer in August. It's a great feeling for you as a teacher, and it's a great feeling for your students. Finally, the last section of the front page of the organizer will be your course standards. These are the standards that will be emphasized and used for feedback and determination of grades, and also includes a graph that students can use to monitor their individual progress across several units in the course. When we're looking at this, you can see that there are a couple of different types of course standards. We can look at content standards. So this is kind of how are we going to assess the content knowledge of our students. So perhaps it's understanding big ideas, applying those big ideas, providing examples and details. Then how are we going to ask our students to show that they have met those criteria? So are you going to give projects? Are you going to have unit tests? Is there daily work? How are students going to show that they're making progress within your course? Then we also have process standards. So in addition to the content standards, perhaps we really want to have our students get some grades for using strategies that we're teaching them, maybe some self-determination strategies, using strategies such as the content enhancement routines, checklists, so on and so forth. Are you a teacher that is going to give some points for participating, for really making our students active in the classroom? Here is a place where you can relate to your students from the very beginning of the year. These are the different ways that I'm going to assess you, and these are how I'm going to look for content and for process. Now, again, on this course organizer for United States History to 1900, there are several examples under content standards and process standards. Again, feel free to flip towards the back of your book. You can see how other teachers have used different content standards and different process standards. And you'll also notice in your course organizer workbook, towards the back there is an appendix that includes many content standards and process standards. Feel free to use any of those as you see fit for your course. The course progress graph, that's going to be up to you and your students how you can do that. Again, flip through some of the examples in your book and you can see how different teachers have used this, this graph. You can do it as a line graph, a bar graph, just some way that your students can see, okay, I'm being successful with everything that I am supposed to know to this point. Okay. Well, that ends part one of the course organizer and page one of the course organizer. In the next video section, I am going to cover the back page of the course organizer. Looking forward to it.